on-campus recruitments throughout CEGEP colleges for professional development, as well as universities. One thing that's really important to keep in mind is that AMCO, although a great company in whatever it has to offer, it doesn't necessarily have the same recognition as other companies, for example. So one way to really appeal to this target population and these ideal candidates is really to reach out to them more on a personable level. So by having this team these teams are going to be traveling from university to university, we're really able to put a face to AMCO and to really be able to relate to them. The career fairs. One great way for a confused university student to solve their life problem is to go to their career advisors. By maintaining a contact and establishing a contact within these universities, it allows these career advisors to really bring these students to consider various options. And from there, the students are going to be on their own and looking at different options that are available to them once graduation is upon them. And also to look into a possibility of sponsorship of various events. So one of them that really stood out is the fact that they're already sponsoring multiple university competitions, such as the Jeux de Commerce. So really continue in that line and make it more personable and having that name in mind as we move forward. So now I'll pass it on to Maj for the long-term solution.
Thank you. So while we were doing our research, we stumbled upon a statement by a current AMCO representative who said, and I quote, "Applying to AMCO is not as sexy as applying to Google." Yes, that may be true currently, but that does not mean that AMCO cannot achieve that status in the long term. And that's where this phase of our recommendation comes into the picture. AMCO is a great company. It has a lot of things to offer its employees. As we learned through the case, the president takes the time to sit with you at the beginning to have a personal one-on-one chat with you to see how your progress is during the company. Not many companies at the size and the scale of AMCO can do that. And that's something that differentiates AMCO and makes it a great company for people, for young people from our generation to want to work in, because we look for those intrinsic motivational aspects. Secondly, AMCO has a lot of great things to offer us. For example, the program that we spend an incredible amount of money on, but unfortunately not many people know about this program, and we want to strengthen the brand equity and to get people to know about the incredible opportunities that AMCO can introduce into your career. And that's where the water slide project comes into play. We want to create an experimental marketing campaign with the help of specialized firms to create a huge hype event, or rather an extremely long-scale marketing campaign to just showcase how incredible AMCO is, that it's a fun company, it's a young company, and there's just a lot of enthusiasm in working in a company in an industry such as this. And so what is the Water Slide Project? Well, first of all, it'll be a competition that's open to the general public. We'll have on-campus activation in students, advisors, and student societies. We'll let everyone know about it. And basically the objective is to design the ultimate water slide within 3 months. This is important because, first of all, you get to learn about AMCO's products through this, which is one of the phases of the manager development program. So they learn about the products while they're doing this, so you're sort of killing two birds with one stone. So while they design this ultimate water slide, we'll have an online application where you'd have to submit your design of how you're going to do it, how you would implement it, all the products that you would use, as long as the YouTube video, just talking about your project. The YouTube video is important for two reasons. First of all, they need technical skills, so you know that they do have these technical skills and they're tech savvy. Secondly, it allows you to evaluate their personal skills. So do they have the interpersonal skills and enthusiasm that you're looking for? After that, we'll have 3 finalists selected by the regional recruitment team that Christina introduced to us. 50% of the points will be allocated via social media. So the most likes, the general public will go on AMCO's Facebook page and like the design that they like the best. The other 50% of the points will be allocated by top management. So they'll see all the designs, they'll choose what they think is most appropriate with AMCO's values, and they'll choose the winning design. And then the winning design will be built in collaboration with a major water park. Now, let's just backtrack a little. Imagine as a young kid if you went on this water slide, for example, in Wonderland, for example, and you'll remember that AMCO built this. Yes, it maybe doesn't have a big impact on you as a 5-year-old, but you'll remember later on that the best water slide that I ever rode was built by AMCO. And you get that brand loyalty where you get them while they're still young. They'll remember the epic experience that they ever had, and AMCO was the one that was able to achieve them for them. And also that everyone knows about it. They'll see EMCO in a different light. It's fun, it's enthusiastic, it's energetic, and it's a different way than maybe most people perceive it. And that's what we want to do with this long-term aspect. We want to change the perception of the generation that you're targeting, which are more attracted by big hype things. Like doing small little things isn't attractive to our generation anymore. And this is something that we think is incredibly feasible and that has that effect. And again, the key benefits is that you'll build brand loyalty by attracting the younger generation, exposure to the general public. People will see EMCO that they've never seen them before. And lastly, you'll appeal to a potential pool of applicants. Most people that are gonna compete in this will probably be people with college degrees that like you were looking for, and so you just appeal to them in a different way and you really differentiate yourselves from the get-go. And I'll pass it on to Kitan to talk about implementation.
Thank you. So just to re-emphasize Majid's point, the main goal of the Waterslide project is to create brand equity and create a buzz about EMCO. Now, it's not necessarily just limited to the Waterslide project. It could be any other type of project. It can be in bigger scale and in different scopes. The main objective is to create a marketable experiential learning campaign where EMCO is a main point of contact. To take us through the implementation. So as we said, we've identified two key issues, retention and recruitment. Retention is the first thing that we want to address. This we're going to be doing by the end of January 2015 through implementing the manager development program changes that we've outlined earlier in the presentation. At the same time, you want to assemble the recruitment regional teams. Begin training the teams so that these professionals are ready to go and ready to hit the ground running when the time comes to move out to the three various regions, the Western, the Central, and Eastern regions. The next thing is the medium term. So what you want to do for the retention program is reevaluate the program. Has it been successful? What kind of feedback have you received? What kind of changes can you make? Is there different things that you might want to do? And then implement the changes as are necessary so that you can improve the program even more. Secondly, for recruitment, this is where the pilot projects come in. So we now have 2 teams in place in the Western region, the Eastern region, and the Central region. We take pilot projects in the major cities of those regions and see what the feedback is. How are our recruitment teams working? What's the feedback on the ground? What can we change in our recruitment strategy? And then at the same time, determine the logistics for the Waterslide project or any other project that's similar in terms of the impact that we're trying to have. Finally, in the long term, we want to continue having an impact on our retention rate by focusing on feedback. Look at the success metrics. What's the yield ratio like? What is your retention rate? Are we actually having an impact on what we set out to do at the beginning? And then adjust that accordingly. For recruitment, you want to assess the success of the pilot projects. The pilot project, have they worked? Have they been successful? Is there something that needs to be changed about them? These are key questions that need to be answered before we can move forward full scale, and before we invest all that money, we need to know if the return on investment is going to be feasible. If it's successful, let's expand to these different cities and launch that expansion marketing campaign.
So for the key takeaways, we really want the customized teams to ensure consistent recruitment standards. That's why we have 3 of them across the nation. We want dedicated professionals with focused efforts, and also we want EMCO to treat their employees just like they treat their clients, with the same respect and the same listening and the same customized solutions. We want to increase the brand equity for future recruitment initiatives, and that pretty much concludes our presentation. We will now open the floor to any questions. Sentez-vous bien à l'aise de poser des questions en français comme en anglais? Si ça va être en français, je vais me permettre de traduire pour mes coéquipiers. Merci.
So one of your proposals was to shorten the time period from 3 to 5 years to half that. And I was wondering, in making that recommendation, did you consider perhaps that the requirements are different in a decentralized organization where the manager would be running their own independent business, almost like their own enterprise, as opposed to a more structured, centralized company like Target, where the training is only 18 months? Did you consider that the importance of running your own business might require more time?
We did consider that because it's decentralized, it's a lot more difficult, and that each profit center is different in what they offer. We looked at the different phases and we saw a lot of interlap between the different phases that we thought we can kind of combine them together that would make it feasible to reduce the time. So I still think it'd be possible to keep it decentralized and still have that quality experience where necessary for the management program. But we believe that it is possible to reduce it from 5 years to 2 to 4 years. Okay.
And you would cut out specifically, would cut out the warehouse piece, or what would you do specifically to?
It would be the combining. So there was the warehousing. We think that each component is important, and we think that we can combine the customer service experience and the working with the balance sheets. We think that people multitask a lot more these days than that we may be used to in the past, and I think that it's possible to multitask various aspects of the phases. And so it's not a matter of cutting them out, it's more of kind of introducing them together because it's a full-on learning experience.
Thank you.
Vous avez parlé du principe de passer un peu de mentor à coach. Pouvez-vous élaborer un peu plus sur le concept et quels sont les avantages?
Dans le fond, il y a deux personnes. Vraiment, la personne qui est vraiment ressortie le plus, c'est le mentor. Puis dans la description fournie par les informations qu'on a eues, c'était vraiment une personne un peu plus pour superviser la personne, une personne ressource. Mais on voulait aussi que cette personne-là, dans le fond, elle n'avait pas nécessairement un rôle spécifique, mais plus sur la durée que la personne va rester à l'entreprise, justement. Fait qu'on voulait le transformer, cette personne-là spécifique, puis simplement la renommer à une coach. Fait quelqu'un que, oui, elle a plus d'expérience dans l'entreprise spécifiquement, mais quelqu'un qui va aussi pouvoir guider la personne, puis voir individuellement c'est quoi leurs besoins en tant que personne, en tant que jeunes motivés, mais aussi c'est quoi leur potentiel dans l'entreprise, comment les deux peuvent être compatibles, puis tout en gardant le principe de mentor, simplement le changer pour l'épellation de coach pour que ce soit un peu plus informel. The same components. We didn't understand why we had never heard about it before. So one thing that we really were thinking about, we just like brainstorm and put everything together, is that although we've seen MCO on more and more competitions in terms of like the prizes that they're sponsoring at JDCC, for example, but we weren't exposed to the brand before. So that's why we came up with the water slide project. We were like, okay, plumbing, but like how do we make it more interesting? Like what is it like as children to really like have an element that we grow up with, and eventually it's a very long-term project, but we think that would be well worth the shot.
So you all three, you love water slides?
Yeah, we love water slides.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.